What's up? And welcome in to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. Look for Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment to everything we do here because it's a celebration tonight because it is the NBA Draft Show. Cannot wait to be able to look at the stars of tomorrow that will be part of the NBA. And there's plenty of names to look at. And we will lead you right into the Chicago Bulls pick at number 4 and give some analysis to that as well. And of course, hey, I'm looking forward to it because if you're a Bulls fan, you're the number 4 pick. They can't mess this up, right? They can't mess this up. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment to our video here wherever you're watching us from because it's a watch along as we keep our eyes on the NBA draft. And of course, we've got help along the way as we turn to Charles Taylor. There he is right there. He's happy. Look at that. He's got the draft glow about him. Charles Taylor from the CTJ Report, always with us here for our Bulls and NBA draft coverage. Brothers, always appreciate it.
Always a pleasure being on with you, sir. It's draft night. You know, it's one of the best nights of the year if you're an NBA fan, just to see who is it that your team is going to pick. And if you're a Bulls fan, I mean, you're sitting there with 2 picks in the first round, almost 2 picks in the lottery. It doesn't get any better than this. We've been suffering as Bulls fans for years under Arturas Karnisovas, and before that with Garpax. So tonight is a night for you to celebrate a little bit and see what should be a good night for the Bulls fans.
Also with us from LA in Space is LA. And of course, he was just on the West Side talking to Bryson and Graham. They were putting up shots together, getting comfortable for the draft. And so LA joins us here on Under the Hood with Jonathan, our draft show. LA, welcome, sir.
What's going on, brothers? How are you all tonight?
Good, sir.
Looking forward to see what the Bulls are going to do tonight, man. They got 2 picks, and it's an exciting time. Do they go with the athletic wing, which is Caleb Wilson? Do they go with the dynamic point guard Darius Acuff? I'm here to see. I'm here to find out. Either way, I'm going to be happy. I think the Bulls are in store for a player who can change their fortunes.
There's plenty to choose from this draft. Going to the NBA draft combine, guys, and going to Wintrust Arena, I saw some guys, at the top of the draft. AJ Debonsa, of course, the wing from BYU, Darren Peterson, the guard from Kansas, Cam Boozer, the forward from Duke, Caleb Wilson, the wing from North Carolina. But I also saw LA some guys in the middle on that list as well, where it's not necessarily a reach. It might be a 4-player draft, but also there's not that big of a drop-off after that. There's some guys at 15. If the Bulls want them, they could be able to, if you hold pat, you could be able to get some players there at 15 if you want.
Agreed. There's plenty of value out there. I mean, Yaxo Luxembourg, who had the tournament of his life, and I know he's a little older, he is going to be I believe he's going to be an outstanding contributor on an NBA franchise, on a team this year. He's got size, he's got athleticism, he's got a steady jump shot. He's got everything that you look for in he could be in my estimation, a better version of a Mikal Bridges for the Knicks. He's got everything. This guy's got it. And it's whether or not obviously it's always whether or not it translates to the NBA game and whether or not the guy has the motor and the wherewithal and the will to want to do and be better when his NBA career starts.
CJ, do you have a favorite that you'd like for the Bulls to take a look at here at number 4?
I think if you're looking for athletic wings that are big, Caleb Wilson's your guy, the young talented forward out of North Carolina. I think Boozer will be gone by the time we get to 4. The Bulls may be looking at him as well, but Wilson to me seems to be the perfect fit for what the Bulls are trying to do. They're really trying to be athletic. They're really trying to get up and down the court, and I think this young man will fit in with Josh Giddey, with some of the other players that you have there, minus Buzelis, really just making it exciting. You're up and down the floor. Don't know how that's going to be defensively, but with new head coach Tiago Splitter, we'll see. We'll see how they kind of pan out. But I think that I don't want to say that's a safe pick, but I think that's the safe bet for the Bulls to get at number 4.
LA,
I can't disagree with you, but at the same time, is this guy going to be your next superstar, or is he going to be another version of Tyrus Thomas?
Don't
I'm
know.
hoping that he's not. I think he has all the talent in the world. If I was making that pick, and thank God I'm not, because I am not an NBA general manager, and sometimes I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, let alone what I'm doing. But I would probably go with Darius Acuff because I believe this guy is a superstar in the making. He's got a reliable jump shot. He can get to wherever he wants to on the floor. And in today's NBA, with the no hand check rule, with the freedom of movement, you have to have a dynamic point guard that can get a shot from anywhere at any time on the floor, in my estimation. You saw how Jalen Brunson was able to lead his team to a title. You saw Shea Gilgeous-Alexander be able to do the same thing. You need someone that is dynamic with the ball in his hands that can get to wherever he wants to on the floor, and he's got a reliable jumper on top of it. That's the guy that I would pick. But hey, like I say, I am not the general manager. I am not Graham, and I hate to be him. I believe that this guy did his homework. He's done his homework, and whoever he picks, I think we're going to be happy with it one way or the other.
The Washington Wizards are on the clock, and we'll talk about the Wizards in just a moment. The thing about Bryson Graham is we don't know what we don't know. We know where he came from, but being in Chicago is a whole different deal here because you did have cap space. You got Nick Claxton because you want to protect the middle. Nothing wrong with that. You got about $32 million left of cap space there. So, well, again, we don't know the tendencies of Graham and Tiago Splitter, but we're going to find out because this is day one where it gets real. As the Wizards are on the clock right now, Trae Young just signed an extension, 4 years, $212 million. God bless Trae Young. If you can get it, you go get it, right? So they also have Anthony Davis on the roster as well. Last time that the Wizards were in the playoffs, it was under Scott Brooks, the 2020-2021 season. They've had 35 wins over the last 2 seasons, in last place the last 3 years. You go to Washington to die. That's the Washington Wizards right there. That's why you go. That's basketball hell right there in Washington, LA.
If you can keep Anthony Davis upright for 65 games, which is asking a lot, which is asking a lot, I think this team could finish with Bonsa and Trae Young. I think they can do what Trae Young did in Atlanta for the time that he was down there, go 41-41. That's what they can do. They can potentially finish with a 500 record.
CJ, it has been bad for Brian Keefe, the head coach for the Wizards. I mean, taking on purpose. Yeah. I mean, they don't get a pound in the head. You're doing this on purpose. Yeah. But Trae Young and Anthony Davis are your centerpieces. Like, whoever they're going to pick, and it's still fluid at this point because, again, it's a top 4 pick. CJ, to me, whoever gets this will be in the boneyard with all the other great Wizards. With bad basketball and no real playoff substance.
It's tough if you're a Wizards fan. I mean, sure, you got Trae Young. He's gonna light it up. He's gonna give you 25 points a night. Yeah. He'll be streaky, on a lot of nights and hit a bunch of threes. But we saw that in Atlanta, and there was just a ceiling to that. What you're getting with Trae Young, Anthony Davis. When healthy, one of the top 15 players in the league. But the problem is
2 out of the 7 days of the week.
There you go. There it is. Right. 2 out of the 7 days of the week, he's going to be healthy. No matter who they pick, this Washington team is going to be middle of the road, playing game for sure. At best. Playing game at best for the Wizards. You can't expect much out of these guys.
So typical Wizards, the pick has been in for 3 minutes, and they have not come to the podium yet. We still don't see the Commissioner Silver out. I would love to hear that Wizards pass on the first pick because they didn't come out in time. But the pick has been in for a while. And again, there's so many choices as we take a look at the draft picks. I mean, whatever they want, it can improve the team, whether it's Debansa, whether it's Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson. I mean, it's there. So finally the commissioner comes out and the Washington Wizards are going to make their selection here. And so we'll hear from the it's AJ Debansa. And some would say that AJ is the best player in this draft. Let's step aside and kind of watch some of his highlights. Debansa was outstanding.
Another middle ball screen, which worked really well. DeBonce to the drive. Oh, my!
Stop. Out to DeBonce. The freshman phenom in the lane, fading. Wow! He surveys. Caravan on him. In the lane, skinning to the left.
Kevin Young said, if you want to play with 11 other NBA players,
Oh, God.
Play injured and getting to play for the first time. Corner three.
So just some of the highlights there of A.J. DeBanza, now part of the Washington Wizards. So, Charles, your thoughts as now he's with Trae Young and Anthony Davis on a part-time basis.
Here's a young man that I like the way he plays. He doesn't play like your typical stretch 3-4. You know, they like to be out on the perimeter. He actually likes to get in the paint and get a little nasty, get a little physical. I think that's something that's missing a bit with some of our bigs now. Now, of course, the stuff that he was able to get away with at BYU, he's not going to be able to get away with, you know, as much in the NBA. You know, they're bigger, stronger, faster. But I think his game will translate to the league because of the physicality that he can bring. It's a person for Trae Young to feed the ball into on the inside. You know, now you got to figure out, can he and Anthony Davis coexist? But you don't have to worry about that because, as LA said, he's only here for 2 of the 7 days of the week. So the young man will be able to flourish.
This kid has everything, man. He's got a little old school game because he can get to the paint from anywhere on the floor. And then I have to disagree with you slightly, because this guy in the freedom of movement era that we're in today, you can't touch him. You can't hand check him. This guy can get to where he's got the ball handling skills, the shot fakes, the mid-range game. He can get to wherever he wants to on the floor. And once he gets past that rookie season, when you have to earn those calls from the NBA officials, that second season on, he's going to live at the free throw line because he can go wherever he wants to go at any point in time on anybody, especially when you cannot touch him. He's going to be, if he remains healthy, he's going to be a star. He can be easily a 25, 5-5 guy in the NBA or more, easily, even with playing with Trae Young, because you can't double him because Young can knock down the shot. And the pick and rolls with twice a week with Anthony Davis, it can be nasty. It is very promising. But Anthony Davis, how much does he have left in his tank? How many more injuries is he going to suffer? I mean, this guy just a twisted eyelid. What? Just anything. This guy's just always out. It's always something. I've never seen a player that talented that just absolutely cannot stay healthy for the life of him. And it's maddening. It's maddening.
LA, I'll say it. Had a conversation with James Capers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Longtime NBA official. CJ, you'll love this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's me, Cap, and James Capers, and we're just having lunch. And of course, Capers is from the crib, so he knows like the best players, the best of the best that ever played in high school basketball in the city, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going through these names, and I think between the three of them, we went through about 50 or 60 names of the best. Anthony Davis's name never was in the conversation. I think Cap might have said, "Hey, Anthony Davis." I go, "Perspectives?" I said, "From perspectives?" Like, nah, man. Like, no. Like, if he's gonna be top 50, then someone's got to be 50, or in his case, 150. What do you think about it, right? When he came out, it's like he was just the best of that class. But when you think of the best that we've ever seen LA in high school basketball in the state, let alone the city,
not even
he
close.
doesn't scratch the surface. Yeah,
not even close. Because one reason is because he was a late bloomer. He was 6'1" point guard for years, and then he played at a school that just did not have any. does not have any basketball pedigree. They were all my nephew actually played against him in high school, and they beat them soundly. Anthony Davis was obviously the best player on the floor, but my nephew played at Al Raby on the west side of Chicago. And there's a video. I'm going to send it to you, Hoodie. My nephew's making threes and pounding his chest. He's doing his thing. Shout out to Lorenzo. And it's like, are you kidding me? And Anthony Davis was clearly the best player on the floor, but he had nothing to play with. And again, he was 6'1". He shot up for his senior season and he dominated. But one season of losing basketball, and that you have to dominate in Chicago. There's just too many names to list. Too many names to list.
Utah Jazz are on the clock. They're going to come out here. Jazz 22-60 last year. This will be the 5th season for Will Hardy as their head coach. They believe in Will Hardy, and they've been taking their butts off as the second selection is in, and the commissioner's at the podium, and he says that it's Darren Peterson from Kansas.
Really? Okay.
So Darren Peterson from Kansas. No playoffs for the Jazz since the 2021-2022 season under Quinn Snyder. And so Darren Peterson is going to the Utah Jazz. Again, the Jazz have been taking their ass off for a while here, and so now they're going to try to elevate here with this team. Let's go back in time and check out Darren Peterson and see what he brings to the table. Tell you what, he was tremendous.
I need to know.
Because he doesn't care about basketball, doesn't seem. I wouldn't draft him first. I wouldn't draft him second. I'm not sure if I'd draft him at all.
What, he just took himself out of the game? And they're like, yeah, he literally pointed to Bill Self. Was like, I'm out.
It gives me Ben Simmons flashbacks to the OSU thing when he was just like, I'm out.
Well, young fella got to set a standard. We can't do this to the game.
And maybe this is a byproduct, KP, of when kids get paid NIL.
Bill Self better than me. Because I would have been got on his ass like back pockets. We would have been moving some furniture. There's no way in hell I go and recruit you, I pay you the dollars that I'm paying you, and you come and you act the way that you're acting, meaning like not showing up, thinking that we're doing things on your terms. Again, this is not, I don't look at this as college basketball anymore. Once you start getting paid, this is your job.
I would be a little concerned about, just how tough he is.
He reminds me of the prime years of Gilbert Arenas.
You have the ability to be one of the best scorers of this generation.
He's the best recruit out of Ohio since LeBron.
He brings it every single night. He's got a different gear.
Somebody described you as the best guard to enter college since Derrick Rose.
I put on a jersey because I feel like it's my purpose and my destiny, and I was born to do it.
Now I see who the best player in college basketball is.
Whew. What a variance, right? I mean, listen, the three of us coming up, you just looked at the newspaper and see what people said about you. But when you have blogs and podcasts and, ESPN and FS1, you heard all of the opinions there. Yeah. Best player since LeBron out of Ohio. Best guard since Derrick Rose. Doesn't have the motor. CJ, there's a lot that is for and against Darren Peterson. But now it's time for him to shut up the critics. There is no time off. It might be in college basketball, but not in the pros. He's got a lot to prove.
He does, and he's probably on the best team to do it in Utah, where the media attention probably won't be as high, but he's still the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to get out there on the court on a night in and night out basis and show what he can do, show what the things that he did at Kansas that will translate to the NBA. Now, again, granted, he's in Utah. He won't have to worry about a media crush like if he were in New York or Chicago or Philadelphia or some of these other cities. But that wide of comments coming
difference
from,
of opinion,
of opinion. That wide, that's crazy.
LA?
When they played at home against the number 1 team in the nation, I think they were playing Arizona. Yeah. And he just didn't play, he didn't dress. How do you not dress in the biggest game of the season? How do you do that? I don't get it. And Utah,
he load managed in college at times.
Well, he's preparing himself for today's NBA. Is what he was doing. That's what they do. So, but I just don't get it, man. I don't know if I can select a player that high who I have that many questions about. Maybe he answered all those questions for Utah. And Utah's got some talent on that roster over there. They got Ace Bailey. They still have Lauri Markkanen. They traded for Jaren Jackson Jr. They still have Walker Kessler who's going to get minutes. So they got some pieces to work with, but you needed a lottery pick to help put you over the top. And this is the guy that you put in your fortunes in. Who are you going to get? Are you going to get that guy that they praise so much? Or are you going to get that guy who's Anthony Davis Jr.? You don't know if he's going to be out there or not. What are you going to get?
I mean, the talent is there. The 20 points a game, shooting almost 40% from a clip from three. I mean, it's there. But again, this Bill Self was pulling his wig out. It's not his hair. He's pulling his wig out, dealing with this young player. But the whole thing is, like, it's the NBA now, man. You have to be able to deliver. And with the Utah Jazz, Charles, you're right. The scrutiny won't be as stark. But the point is, people will wonder, will you do the same thing you did in college where you could be at your high of heights and lead a team and all of a sudden, nah, I can't play? That's going to be interesting to watch. That's for sure. As the Memphis Grizzlies are on the clock. Grizzlies 25-57 last year. And that Grizzlies team, LA, outside of Ja Morant, it's not who's who. It's a who's that. Jaden Willis, we know Jaren Jackson Jr., but Cam Spencer, KCP, the veteran who's on that team. Like, this has just not been whooped that trick. It's tricking off.
It's bad.
The Memphis Grizzlies.
It's bad. And going back to Peterson for a second, you said he won't face that media scrutiny. I think those days are done because there's national media scrutiny and there's social media scrutiny as well. Everyone has a podcast. Everyone has a YouTube channel. Everyone has bingo under the hood. Everyone has Twitter. Everyone has an opinion. So he's going to get talked about if he's out there dogging it out. People watch games all day long. I'm here. You're here, Hoodie. DJ, you're here. We're going to talk about it.
We are presented to you by Alexander James Whiskey, the official whiskey of Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Put your comments in as we do our draft show. Any questions about the draft or NBA free agency, we'll cover it all right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, as it is Cam Boozer, chosen by the Memphis Grizzlies. Whoop that trick. 20-10 is walking in the door in Menfo. How about that? Cam Boozer, drafted by the Grizzlies. This young man here, let me just tell you, he is going to, I think, can bring a lot to the table. He's one of these guys, to me, will be a sustainable pro, right? You will be talking about him in 10 years like, there he is, Mr. 20-10, like dad. Only difference is Cam has a shot from the outside.
Yes, he does.
So he has more variance in his game than the old man, but Cam Boozer is going to be a great pro. What do you think?
I think that the only question I had about this guy was his athleticism and would it translate to the NBA level. But there are really no big guys in the NBA anymore. There are no guys that are going to give him many problems. So his game should be able to just adjust immediately. Like you said, will he do 20-10 his rookie season? It's possible because there's nothing else on that roster.
No,
so he's going to get the shot. He's going to get the shot attempts. He's going to have to rebound. He's going to have to do everything. And that Western Conference is tough, man. So he's going to have to bring it every night, but he's going to get the opportunity because there's nothing else on that roster. And will the Grizzlies even keep Ja Morant? That's another question.
Charles, what are your thoughts on, as we get ready for the Bulls pick, your thoughts on Cam Boozer now with Memphis?
Now, Cam has everything he needs to be able to walk right into Memphis and make that his team. That is right there for him. The athleticism we can talk about a little bit, but again, there are no, 6'9", 6'10", 6'11" fours that are just going to just beat you down or anything like that. Everyone's kind of a stretch now, so he'll be able to use his tools to be able to translate into the NBA. And like LA said, 20-10 walking, 20-10 in his sleep. He should be able to do, especially in Memphis, because there's no other choice. Literally, there's no other choice.
Let's check out Cam Boozer.
Rebound up to 7 rebounds now, and give him a bucket and more.
For the Tigers this week, and batted away by Boozer. On the attack, he slams it up.
16 minutes and fouled out. So Malik Brown, the start for Duke, but snaps his.
Stolen away, the steal, and the slam. Here's Cameron Boozer spinning, and he's got all
the 3 to Craigson. Foster and Caden Boozer in the backcourt together. Cam Boozer gets back to his.
Doing a good job denying that post entry. Foster, there's the kickback. Shot clock at 8.
Oh, playing at the United Center. That's right. So he's used to that United Center floor as the Bulls are getting ready to pick. Yeah, I look forward to that young man's future. So, guys, I think that the stars are aligned. And it's good to see not just Carlos, but Mrs. Boozer also has joined the couch. Very nice. Good to see Mom there supporting Cam and the family.
Lottery pick. Lottery pick.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully, absolutely. It just reminds me of how I love Thanksgiving with yams. But I'm just telling you right now, man, that the Bulls, you know what, Charles? This lines up well for the Chicago Bulls historian. Funny guy. I saw him at the NBA Draft Combine. Caleb Wilson. He's like, I know everything about the Bulls. Absolutely. I watched the documentary. He saw The Last Dance, so he knows everything about the Bulls.
From The Last Dance.
There's some things that you might have missed, but he's funny when he said that. But it lines up for Wilson from North Carolina if they want.
Yeah, it's right there.
The only question I have is Chicago ready for another Caleb W?
Yes.
Williams?
Yeah.
Hey, absolutely. Bring them on. On. Caleb and Caleb. C-Dub. A pair of C-Dubs. It'd be interesting.
I think he can fall right here, LA, if he wants.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's the pick. I think he's the most athletically gifted player remaining on the board in the first round. Like I said, I would prefer to go with the guard, but again, I don't get paid to make this decision. Mr. Graham, you're on the clock.
Do you agree, CJ?
Yeah, I think his talents will blend in just fine with what Modest, brings to the floor. It's going to be interesting to see how those two gel off of each other. And then with the young center that they just acquired last night,
Claxton.
you've got Claxton, you've got quite the athletic front court.
Oh
right there.
yeah, it'll be the new Lob City, maybe, huh?
Yeah. Well, hey,
no. But you're gonna have to find some outside shooting. You're gonna have to find some outside shooting.
You know what?
You have to.
For me, watching the Bulls, I feel like the reset starts tonight. Like, I know that there's this 100 level Josh Giddey fans, and they think that Buzelis is. I mean, this man right here, Bryson Graham, told you in his introductory press conference. He goes, "I don't see any stars. I don't see any like difference makers on the team. He's okay with the roster, but he's going to put it in his own image. Like, you look around and it's like, what that was last year. It was Billy Donovan putting the team together with tongue depressors and Elmer's glue just to survive, right? And in some ways, in some NBA circles and people I talked to, it was the wrong thing to do for the Bulls to be able to try to not tank. As we get the commissioner now, let's see the pick. That's it. Caleb Wilson from North Carolina, the pick for the Chicago Bulls. So, Charles, we'll start with you. Your thoughts about Caleb Wilson now being part of the Chicago Bulls team?
It was a safe pick. For me, it was the right pick. I think, like I said, he's going to gel well with the team. If Tiago Splitter wants to do that, to really be athletic, to really get up and down the floor. And this young man is going to, give you all the tools to be that athletic team. LA did, put it correctly. Hey, you're going to need somebody to get the ball to him at some point. But I think with him and Buzelis, and if Nick Claxton can take that next step, you've got your front court of the future. Now you just need to work on your backcourt. But this is an excellent piece to the puzzle. Is it the franchise-making piece? We don't know, but it's a really good start.
Yeah, the Bulls, who they have on the contract for this season, obviously Giddey, Patrick Williams, Isaac Okoro, Smith Jones, Dillingham, Noah Singay, and that's basically it. Yeah. So you got to fill out that roster too. Even if this starting lineup turns out to be, quality and develop into a quality starting lineup over the course of the season, you're going to need somebody on the bench because injuries happen, fatigue happens. You're going to need roster. You're going to need to fill out that roster. you're gonna have to pick up some quality veterans, something. And guys, you know, you get some free agents out there that you're gonna have to fill that roster out with, and a guy's gonna be able to get some minutes. You know, obviously you don't overpay because the Bulls right now is constructed. No, they're not a playoff team, and I don't see them making the playoffs. Not even a play-in team with a roster this young and this dearth of talent. And I'm glad that Graham said he doesn't see any stars on the team. That means he sees the same damn thing that we see. A team that is bereft of talent, bereft. And like you said, this is the safe pick. Can he turn out to be a superstar? We're all hoping that he does. Can he turn out to be Tyrese Thomas? We're all hoping that he does.
That's really what it comes down to. Yeah, just don't be Tyrese Thomas. As we take a look now at the highlights of Caleb.
Down White, here he goes.
Nice. I mean, he was wide open, and his eyes are facing you and I over here on the side.
They know each other well. Again, AAU teammates in the summer of 24.
Here's Wilson, who's got 13 rebounds for North Carolina. And
8. Yeah, oftentimes in the NBA, you know, with only 3 seconds on the shot clock, can't clear it for him.
Ball away, he's got it. Wilson the catch against Kraft. Fall away. It spins.
A very experienced team, but the way that they're putting their execution into play here in the second half shows that they're learning.
ISO. He loves that drop step baseline.
There is turns and fires out.
Half-court game as best as possible. Here is Caleb Wilson on a step back in the game.
Vessar, turnaround Wilson.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, so you saw baseline underneath the basket, shoots from 3. And so we take a look at a guy here in Caleb Wilson, 6'10", from Atlanta, Georgia, played with the Tar Heels, known as one of the more explosive and dynamic athletes in the draft. He averaged 20 points a game, 9.4 rebounds during his freshman year. He had an unfortunate thumb injury, which we watched him toward the back end of the season, unable to play. But you take a look at an elite athlete, Charles, someone who has rocketed up the rankings for the draft, the defensive versatility of the young man, the size, the length, the motor that he has as well, weak side rim protector, switchable perimeter defender, can guard multiple positions, okay? Not just a 5, but a 3-4-5, because if you got length, you could be able to utilize your speed and also be able to shut down the baselines and also be a rim protector. The shooting consistency, I mean, like anything else, right? He's a work in progress. Like what we saw there, some of his highlights, but it's not the ready-made product yet, but you know what? You can work on that. If you already come in with a defensive mindset, you've already won. We can work on the shooting. We can work on the shooting, right? And so he's going to add weight. He's going to have some physicality because you need that in the painted area. But Charles, I just think that for the Bulls, what you got is a top 4 pick, not just because you had 4, but you got a good player that other teams coveted. Again, the Jazz were not sure exactly, or the Wizards weren't sure exactly. Debanza was probably a no-brainer for some, but the Jazz were not sure who they were going to take, and they got what they got, and the Bulls got something I think they can work with.
Could he turn out to be Jermaine O'Neal?
Sure. At 19, he was a project, and look what happened.
Yeah, I would love if he turned. I would love to be turned into Jermaine O'Neal. Yeah.
And as far as his jumper, he's got it looks good, good fundamental jump shot, and I think all he has to do is extend it out to the line. Go right ahead, CJ. Didn't mean to step.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, no, good. That was my thing. In those highlight packages, you saw that he was able to go everywhere on the court. From either wing, from either elbow, able to get inside. Now you say you want to take that now to the NBA 3 level. And if he can be, a decent 3-point shooter out there, now you're talking about a very dangerous player offensively. And then he also brings, like you said, the defensive intangibles. He's already got that with him. So now you add a 3-point shot to whatever he has with his game already. Now you're talking about, oh, no, this kid can really be something. This kid might be a franchise type player if he can add those other variables to his game. But I really like the pick. I do. I really, really like the pick.
I like the pick as well. They're automatically stronger in the middle defensively than they were a year ago with the addition of him and Claxton. They're automatically, you're going to alter some shots. Even if you don't block a lot of shots, those two are going to alter shots in the paint, which is what you need. The Bulls were a layup line for teams just last year. They were a layup line. It was just waltz to the basket whenever they wanted. And this will alter those things. Now, what are you going to get offensively? Are you going to get enough offensively? Are you going to get you a perimeter defender, which is you're going to need that as well. You're going to need someone to be able to slow down a ball penetrator. You're going to need somebody to be able to close out. And you'll be able to do that with Claxton and with Wilson. But will you get a 2-3 that can do the same thing as well? That's the next one.
Well, what I hope is that when you have Claxton and Caleb Wilson there, that some of that will rub off on Buzelis, because I think the knock, if you want to have one, on Buzelis was that defensively he had his struggles. You know, a lot of people ate him during the season last year. But if what Claxton and Wilson can help him as well on the defensive end, I think that could only help out Buzelis.
Agreed 100%. We're in lockstep with that assessment right there. And defense is about will, man. Do you want to play defense? Do you have some pride about yourself about I'm not going to let you score on me? Because when they're isolating and they're doing pick and roll switches and they're hunting you, man, you gotta have some pride about yourself. No, y'all not gonna keep coming at me. I'm gonna make you go somewhere else, and then I'm gonna help them. You have to have some pride about yourself, and that's what defense is about: will and want to. And will Buzelis develop that? Will he have that? Will Thiago Splitter demand that? This is what we're going to find out.
The Under the Hood NBA Draft Show is brought to you by the fine folks over at Alexander James Whiskey, the official whiskey of Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. In 49 states in this fine country, you can find Alexander James Whiskey. Make sure you find it on your shelves. So go to alexanderjameswhiskey.com, where you can find the best of the best, alexanderjameswhiskey.com. So, guys, now that we know, and Keaton Wagler, by the way, goes to Sacramento. I believe that was their next pick. Yeah, so I believe that's where Keaton Wagler from Illinois, he's gone. I'm sorry, the Clippers. I'm so unfamiliar with that damn logo. I wasn't sure what it was, but looking at it, it's going to the Clippers. So that's where he's going to die. So now we had a question from our guy from our morning show here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, Michael Tipton, who is a diehard Spurs fan, checking us out on Facebook. He says he's been seeing articles about the Spurs going after Kawhi Leonard again, and should they? And that's Mike Tippin. You can catch him from 9 to 11 Central Time right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, as he does his show from El Paso, Texas, and crying about the Spurs almost every show. So make sure that you check him out and support him on his show on Under the Hood. So since you brought up free agency, now that we're going through the draft, we should talk about the biggest news. And we'll get to Kawhi in a moment because there's a connection to this, with Giannis Antetokounmpo now being part of the Miami Heat. And so a quick plug, I talked to Jeff Fox, the voice of South Florida Sports. He has his own YouTube channel. You'll be able to see that interview whenever this show's over. Whenever our draft coverage is over, I'll post that interview. Great conversation because he's got his ear to the ground in South Florida about what's happening with the Heat. And so we should discuss this. Charles, I'll start with you talking about Giannis going to the Heat. It was such a haul, right? Giannis always came across as that Euro that just loves a small town, would never leave. And it's like he still has love for Milwaukee, but does not have love for the Bucks. Mm-hmm. And so now with the Heat having Giannis on the team, they're not ready to win yet, but at least they have their centerpiece in place, if nothing else. So, and then from the Bucks standpoint, when I saw what they saw, I'm like, Tyler Hero, huh? Probably a hero in South Florida, but not necessarily in the league. Not really the biggest Tyler Hero fan. I know there's a lot of hype, but it's kind of like that rapper you just keep seeing on the street corner. You think he's hot, but really not. Yeah. So tell me your thoughts about Giannis when you first found out that Giannis is now part of Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and the Heat.
Pat Riley does it again. He finds ways to get players to come to South Beach. I think it's going to be a minute though before they can really turn that into something. And now the only question is, how great can Giannis continue to be great, for lack of a better term? How much longer can he keep it going? Because he's had some injury issues, not terrible injury issues, but he's had some, and he's probably, I would say, right at the apex of and peak of his powers. So if you're gonna really try to do something in Miami, you damn well better do it now, because I'm not quite sure how much longer we're getting peak Giannis powers. But for the next couple of years, yeah, he's gonna do what he does. He's gonna give you 25 and 13 and 5 assists every night, and he's gonna have some fun in Miami. But yeah, do they have shooters to feed off of him? Not really. That's why they got to do it, and they got to do it quick.
You think just like I do. The first thing I thought of when they made that move was, who's going to shoot from the outside? Who's going to take pressure off of the two guys inside? Giannis has not ever been known as a reliable 3-point shooter. Bam Adebayo, you still have Wiggins, and you have Davion Mitchell. But where are you going to get outside shooting for? And who's going to come off the bench? I looked at their bench, and it's me, you, Hoodie, Kaplan. What are you going to do? You're going to have to fill that roster out. It's pretty bad after that starting five. And yeah, it's nice that Raleigh, yeah, he pulled it off, but it's not tough to convince guys to come to Los Angeles and South Beach. It's not very hard to do that. Guys want to be where they want to be, and there's nothing you can do about that. I don't understand why he chose Miami. I thought if he wanted to win, he'd go somewhere else, because other teams are more readily available, contention wise, and Miami just isn't that. Is Miami any different than the Bucks last year? The Bucks won 30 some odd games last year, but if Giannis stays healthy, they win more games than the Heat did last year. Now he's taking away. They do. They win 50 games last year if he stays healthy.
I just think, I always think, well, when we always ask questions, it all comes down to dollars and cents, right? So like for Giannis, yeah, he's paid with Milwaukee, sure, but now no state tax in Florida, one, and also some athletes lose control. I think that there was a time here toward the back end of his time with Milwaukee where he didn't have control like he once did when he won the championship. And I think that with the Heat, if nothing else, if he doesn't have control, at least he has structure. He trusts Zoe Morning and Pat Riley and Spoelstra to elevate him and his team to get to a championship. If they play this right, the Heat will be able to find others shooting around them. They won't win this year. Hell, they may not win next year. But the point is, though, is like they're on the way. All Riley wanted was to have his white whale. He talked about this all the time, right? Shaq and Dwayne Wade, Bosh, James, and Dwayne Wade. He just wants to have his white. That's all he wants. He can fade off to the sunset now because he's got a guy that probably will spend the rest of his career in Miami. And I think that that's where it came down to Giannis. He didn't have the control anymore, so he went to South Florida. Good for him. Good for him. Like I just want to know what the next. I just want to know what the next step is for them as far as acquisitions.
So you're saying that him being let go, they let Thanasis go today. He was waived. His brother Thanasis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks waived him today.
Package deal.
They'll be on the Heat. They'll be on the Heat before the end of the week.
Thanasis is going to take that podcast down to South Florida.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Pat Riley don't exactly get down like that. I don't know about that. But then again, they have nothing else on the bench.
So here's the connection, guys. The connection to Jeff Fox. And again, you'll see that full conversation coming up here on Under the Hood with Jonathan. Just like, share, subscribe. Please comment while we're here live doing the NBA Draft Show. So Jeff floated out, what if? Two things. It relates to what Tipton asked about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is trying to renegotiate or try to redo his contract with the Clippers. If that does not work out, he will be a free agent. So what if he goes to South Florida? Is there a slot open for him to play for the Heat? The other thing is he just floated out there. What if LeBron back to Miami. Like, he doesn't need the whole like full boat salary wise. He doesn't need that. But what if back to Miami to win a championship with Giannis and with the group that they have there? Anthony Wiggins, Wiggins and
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
And the big.
I just don't see it happening because he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. He's not going to defend anybody anymore. He's got to have the ball in his. He's got to be a ball dominant player. And are you going to be a ball dominant player with a better player at your same position on the floor? A better, younger, more athletic guy? No.
You said they need a guard.
I just can't see it.
You need a point guard, right?
Yeah, but okay, but he's gonna be a defensive liability on the other end of the floor. And no, you don't go in that direction, in my opinion. I just can't see that happening. But
you owe me a steak dinner if you see if LeBron leaves the Lakers and goes to the Heat. You owe me a steak dinner.
You say steak and shake? No problem. I got you.
Steak dinner. You heard what I said.
You're gonna have steak and shake for dinner, and you're gonna be happy with it.
Nah, I don't see LeBron back in Miami. Just from a health standpoint, it's going to be hard for him to be able to stay upright for 82 games. And like Ellie said,
82.
All right, okay, all right, 65. All right.
62.
Yeah. But yeah, with Giannis and Bam there, I don't honestly, I don't know if LeBron, for 65 games can, keep up with both of them, especially from a defensive standpoint. So yeah, I don't see now Kawhi.
Maybe that's on the table.
That makes a little more sense.
61 games. 61 games.
Yeah, right. But I think he would be more incentivized to play in Miami if he's playing it next to Giannis and Bam, as opposed to the Clippers and that clown show that they had out there on the West Coast.
He was at home. He was playing at the crib where he wanted to be, where he chose to go.
Yeah, but he was playing with James Harden.
Different. Yeah, but prior to Harden, prior to having James, he didn't get it. They played with part-time P, part-time playoff P, Paul George.
Yeah, Paul George.
Couldn't get it done. I was flummoxed when they let Norman Powell go last year. I didn't understand that move last year at all. I just didn't. I thought he was a very reliable guy, and he is going to be a guy on that's going to really help the Heat. He and Andrew Wiggins, they're going to be hellacious defensively down there in Miami. But are you going to get enough outside shooting? That's the key. You're going to get you need a point guard that can consistently make threes at a close to 40% clip. You're going to need that at some point, and you're going to need some guys on the bench. You're going to need that. But Kawhi to Miami, can't see it. LeBron to Miami, can't see it. I just can't see it. No.
The Kawhi Leonard, until he signs a extension or a new deal, is on the table. He can easily become a free agent. I mean, that's a possibility. But who knows though? I have no. I also, guys, want to talk to you about another thing that happened on Monday. I love the slippery sly NBA team. Like, Boston's been this for a long time, right? I don't have any connection in Boston outside of writers, but I have connections with a lot of teams in the league, but Boston, quiet. They do things very swiftly, right? But another team that you could put on that list right now is the Dallas Mavericks and Masai Ujiri. So it's just a nice quiet day on a Monday, and all of a sudden it hits your phone that Dusty May goes from the Michigan Wolverines and gets the job with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I know that job's been open. All three of us know that job's been open. Jason Kidd gets fired. Masai just wants something different in there. All good. He gets Dusty May quietly out of Michigan. And so, CJ, I just want to get your thoughts first about this because, for Dusty May, there's a frustration with some college coaches that cannot be able to understand or try to deal with this generation of college basketball where it's the Wild West. You have nobody in the chair at the NCAA. They're just doing whatever they want to do. And then, of course, the transfer portal, kids get in and out when they want to. And so Dusty May says, I got my chip. So now I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to the NBA. This is the Brad Stevens of moves right here, was it not?
It was, and good luck to the Mavericks. Hopefully he'll be able to work out in Dallas. LA is shaking his head. I already know where this is going. But yeah, the coaching in college now is so much tougher than it was 10, 15 years ago, where you could put a program in place and it's locked in for that amount of time. If you have a strong team that can go out there and recruit, you can, coach forever. Like Hood said, now NILs, you can watch anybody, anywhere, anytime. You don't necessarily have to go to Duke or North Carolina or Michigan to be able to be seen. Hey, he got his championship. He walked out the door. I hope it works out for him. But going to the NBA and then trying to, coach millionaires, who don't have to listen to a word you absolutely have to say. It's definitely, it's a choice. I'll put it like that. It's a choice.
It's a very well-paying choice, but the next guy from on the collegiate level that goes over to the NBA and becomes immediately successful will probably be the first one. Probably the most successful collegiate coach that went on to the NBA, who was most successful, was probably Larry Brown, who coached forever and coached 900 teams and finally won the title with the Pistons. But college coaches, and you say it's tougher today to coach millionaires, but they were coaching some millionaires, and Dustin May was coaching some millionaires over at Michigan, and he was able to just go and shop. And how many guys were on that roster that won a national title? How many of those guys were on the Michigan roster the year before? They just went out and purchased guys. Morris Johnson, they purchased something. Jax Luxembourg. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right.
Yep, that's right.
They just went out and bought what they wanted and what they needed to win a title. And you can't do that in the NBA. You can try, but there's a salary cap, and he's got tools to work with down there in Dallas, obviously in Cooper Flagg and Kyrie Irving. But at the same time, I just don't. College coaches going to the NBA. Rick Pitino is one of the best college coaches ever. He's won wherever he's gone, and even he couldn't succeed in the NBA. John Calipari couldn't succeed in the NBA. It just doesn't work out for guys leaving the college ranks to go coach in the NBA.
It's just it's Larry. You named the two. It's Larry Brown and also it's Brad Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad Stevens didn't finish it out. He just went upstairs, but he had a very successful run with the Celtics.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what is Dusty May going to do the first time, Kyrie decides to, check out because, he's got some science project or, something that he needs to do on a personal end?
Well,
he's going to count that money. That's what he's going to do. He's going to count that checkbook he just got. He got paid.
It is important for the head coach and the general manager to be on the same page. It's so important. It's like, you got to have my back no matter what. If players are coming after me, you guys will protect me. I talked to you about Will Hardy. He's going to be in his 5th year with the Jazz. He ain't won shit. But what they have done is like, okay, Will, we know we're tanking on purpose, but you're going to be our guy. And I would just say that from that standpoint, you must be on the same page. That way, and if you get fired, you're fired, you're paid. But just the point is, like, you can't have a general manager say, I have to go with the player, especially when the players are not even loyal, a lot of them. So you have to have that. Your jury and May have to be on the same page for this to work.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed 100%. There's nothing I can add to that. You're 100% correct.
College basketball is Panama. Rick says that college basketball is a different game. Not saying that you can't do it, but it's uphill sledding in your opinion. Well, you know what? It always is. It's a current. But here's the thing: he was the best college basketball coach that I saw, and also one of those guys that didn't run away from the money and didn't run away from the responsibilities. I know that Tom Izzo's still in it, but there's some good coaches out there. It's like, I can't allow the player to have the power. I must have the power as the head coach. So now I'm going to leave college basketball. All good. I admire those that stick with it, though. That those are still in the college game, that they got to replenish 9 or 10 new players to be on the roster. Like, it's tough.
Bill Self.
But they're still in it.
Bill Self.
Bill Self, yeah.
And all these other college coaches, they're still in it because they're like, you know what? I never thought I'd have to be a CEO, but I'm gonna have to be a CEO, and that's just what it is, So
you can't threaten to take away a player's scholarship or playing time anymore because they'll be on the phone at halftime with another college coach, and they'll just be gone. They'll be gone, and they'll be suiting up for another team in January. It's
what it is.
That's another subject for another day. That college basketball is just not what it used to be. It's not what I grew up on. Not what
Charles,
I grew up on.
as we wrap up here our draft coverage, and boy, I'm smiling because I just remember LA being at the Berto Center or the Advocate Center, doing the Mike Tirico draft coverage with the big binder, like all and doing the first round and the second round, and then have to wait for John Paxson to come to talk to me. And of course, it's me and Pax, so he would wait until about 12:45 in the morning to come talk to me because he was a bitch to me. So so I just remember, man, it was some of those great shows working with Nick Friedel and Chris Black, and it just, though I'll never forget just the work we put in. But on Under the Hood, the Bulls got the number 4 pick, and I know 15 is right around the corner, but you know what? We're going to be watching that very closely because we want to make sure the Bulls did the right thing. This is like a watch party to make sure the Bulls did the right thing at 4, and they did. So, Charles, any last words, your thoughts about what the Bulls have done?
No, it was a good night for them. They got the player that I believe that they wanted, and now you're just trying to see if they can either add to that with 15. Does Graham try something slick? Does he try to maybe trade that pick or see if he can get a player in return for that? Who knows? But they played it the way they wanted to with their first pick at 4, and the luxury of having the number 15 pick. You can try some things. He's at that point where he can do anything he wants to try to rebuild this team in his image. So if they trade the 15 pick, I won't be mad at it. If they keep it and get the best guy on the board, I won't be mad at that either. It's just that, for the first time in a long time, the Bulls actually have options.
Yeah, they do. And do they find a shooter? Do they have they already made a deal for that pick and it just hasn't been announced yet?
Mm-hmm.
We're about to find out. And it's a beautiful thing to see your team actually getting it right for a change. And Wilson, like I said, I believe he was one of the top 5 players in the draft, and they picked him. And yeah, I'd like to have Acuff because I think he's going to be a special player, but we may never find out because he's going to the Clippers. I mean, no, he's going to the Kings. So we may not ever know what that kid's going to be. But then again, Tyrese Halliburton escaped and he became a super duper star. So maybe he serves he's out in 48 months for good time, good behavior, and he gets out there too. Who knows? Rumor has it that the Kings are gonna just part ways and waive one DeMar DeRozan. So where he'll end up, who knows?
Such a good dude.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Dusty May would make it to the draft, and of course he's there twofold. Now he's the Mavericks head coach, but also supporting his players from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if he would show up, and so there it is. He is actually at the draft. So yeah, so that's it, and we'll see what happens at 15. If the Bulls stand pat at 15, there is quality for them to look at. It could be Cam Carr from Baylor, who I saw at the NBA draft camp, was tearing it up at the Wintrust Arena. Signed back. I don't think he's been drafted yet. The 6'10" forward from Washington. Also, Morez Johnson from Michigan as well. So there's some players there at 15 and Morez Johnson just off the board now going to Michigan. Of course, he's going to Dallas Mavericks because Dusty May coach Morez Johnson. So that'll be all for that. So Morez Johnson off the board for the Bulls, and he will play for his old coach, Dusty May. So
another Chicago kid.
Yeah.
Another Chicago kid.
So guys, I'm so glad that you spent time with me and all of us here in Under the Hood with Jonathan to talk basketball, because we're basketball sickos. And of course, we love this. And so this is our holiday here, the NBA draft.
Thanks for having me, brothers.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me, brothers. I appreciate you all inviting me onto your little spiel here. I appreciate it.
It's our little spiel.
Yeah.
Our little. See how they do it, CJ.
Yeah. So I see.
LA's like James Brown talking to Don Cornelius. James Brown comes to town, and he goes, "Hey, whose studio is this?" And Don said, "It's my studio." No. Who furnished it? No, it's my studio. No. The white man. Who's like? I'm the white man.
You took it the wrong way, Mr. Hoodie. I meant
that's funny though.
I meant this little. That is very funny. I was just referring to the draft little selection show. Not to diminish what we have right here going on. No, that's not what I was doing, my Mister.
I meant the white man.
Who's in charge?
That's what I said. This is my shit. Did you hear what I said? Oh man,
that's hilarious.
As we close, let's get another little sample of what the Bulls have now. Caleb Wilson is now part of the Chicago Bulls. Another Caleb comes to Chicago.
There's no margin advantage here in the second half.
Oh, open year with Duke after a couple of years at Syracuse. Tough shot in the corner, but he drive or try to back down White. Here he goes.
Nice. I mean, he was wide open, and his eyes are facing you and I over here on the side.
They know each other well. Again, AAU teammates in the summer of 24.
Here's Wilson, who's got 13 rebounds for North Carolina. And 8.
Yeah, oftentimes in the NBA, with only 3 seconds on the shot clock,
clearing it for him. Fall away, he's got it. Wilson the catch against Kraft. Fall away. It spins.
A very experienced team, but the way that they're putting their execution into play here in the second half shows that they're learning.
ISO. He loves that drop step baseline.
Turns and fires out. Half-court game as best as possible. Here is Caleb Wilson on a step back in the game.
Vessar, turnaround Wilson.
Love it. Right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody.